It was drizzling lightly outside, and inside, the same familiar scene was playing out at the dining table. Ayan got first position in class again. Pride was written all over Dad's face. Mom was smiling. Relatives on the video call were showering him with praise. He's just like his father. And at the corner of the same table sat Zaid, quietly stirring his spoon around his plate. No one asked how his day went. No one noticed the silence that had filled his eyes. Zaid and Ayan were brothers, but they couldn't have been more different. Ayan was perfect at everything, top of his class, thoughtful and responsible, the son who lived up to every single expectation their parents had. And then there was Zaid. He was emotional, got hurt easily, average in studies, but he had a special kind of magic in his hands. He could turn old things into something new, building models out of cardboard, drawing, finding joy in the smallest things. But in their house, talent was only measured by grades. All that stuff won't build your future. He had heard that line so many times that he had stopped believing in himself. Every morning started with a new comparison. Look how early Ayan woke up. Look how responsible Ayan is. Zaid, when are you going to learn? Sometimes Zaid would wonder, don't I have my own identity? Do I have to become exactly like my brother before I get any love? But he never said those words out loud. One day, there was a parent-teacher meeting at school. The teacher sang Ayan's praises endlessly. Your elder son is brilliant. Dad's chest swelled with even more pride. Then came Zaid's turn. He gets distracted very easily. He doesn't focus on his studies. That was all it took for Dad's expression to change. As soon as they got home, Zaid was scolded harshly in front of everyone. You embarrass us everywhere. Zaid's eyes filled with tears. I'm trying. Try, Dad shouted. Your brother lives in the same house. He never embarrasses us. Why can't you be a little more like Ayan? That night, Zaid locked his bedroom door and cried quietly. Sometimes words hurt more than blows, and Zaid was slowly breaking inside. He started speaking less. He stayed quiet during family gatherings. He even stopped drawing much. He began to feel like he really was worthless. One day, the school announced an art competition. A small spark lit up in Zaid's eyes. He gathered the courage to tell his mom. Mom, there's an art competition at school. I want to participate. Mom, busy in the kitchen, replied, First, fix your grades. These drawings aren't going to take you anywhere. He went quiet. That night, he picked up his sketchbook and threw it in the trash. Ayan saw everything. He walked over quietly. You draw really well. Zaid smiled, but the smile was broken. If I was any good, our family would have appreciated it by now. Ayan had no answer. Because the truth was, he had never really understood what Zaid was going through. Time passed. One day, Dad had a very important office presentation, the biggest project of his career. But the night before, his laptop suddenly crashed. The files wouldn't open. Dad was panicking. My project is going to be ruined tomorrow. Ayan tried hard too, but couldn't figure it out. Then Zaid, who had been standing quietly in the corner, stepped forward. Dad, can I try? Dad looked at him angrily. You? What are you going to fix? Still, he placed the laptop in front of him. Zaid had been taking things apart and understanding them since he was little. Machines and gadgets just made sense to him. He stayed up all night, fixed the laptop, recovered the files, and prepared the entire presentation. The next morning, when Dad opened the laptop, everything was working perfectly. He was stunned. Who fixed this? Mom said softly. Zaid did. Silence filled the room for a few moments. For the first time, Dad looked at Zaid with the same pride he had always shown Ayan. That day, he finally realized not every child is the same. Some kids shine in books, others shine through creativity. Comparison only breaks a child's self-confidence. That night, Dad quietly went to Zaid's room. Zaid was sitting at his table, drawing. Dad sat beside him. For the first time in his life, he seemed at a loss for words. "Son?" Zaid looked up. Dad's eyes were wet. "Forgive us." Zaid was shocked. Dad continued softly. "We failed to understand you. We just wanted you to be successful, but we hurt you by comparing you all the time." Mom walked into the room too. She held Zaid's face gently. "We thought being strict was good for you. But we forgot that every child is different." Tears rolled down Zaid's cheeks. "I just wanted a little love from you." Hearing those words, Mom broke down crying. Ayan, standing at the door, had heard everything. He stepped forward and hugged his brother tightly. "I'm sorry. I never understood what you were feeling." That day, the comparisons finally ended in that house. Dad started supporting Zaid according to his own talents. They enrolled him in design classes. And slowly, the boy who had started believing he was worthless began building his own identity. One day, at the school exhibition, Zaid's inventions and artwork were displayed for everyone to see. People were praising him left and right. Dad stood at a distance, watching him with pride in his eyes. But this time, he didn't say, "Look how perfect my son is." This time, he simply said, "That's my son. And he's perfect in his own way." Sometimes parents don't have bad intentions. They just want their children to do better. But not every child is the same. Comparison doesn't motivate. It often breaks a child from within. And children should also understand one thing. Parents aren't perfect all the time, but their love for their kids never fades. Their methods may be wrong sometimes, but their intentions never are. That's why it's important to have understanding in a home, not comparison. Because only when a child is truly understood can they bloom and become their authentic self.